Welcome to Review Rewind, the show where a couple of friends watch movies of old and aim to figure out if the reviewers were spot on or a little off. I'm your host, Mike.
And I'm Tristan.
And this week, we're talking about Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Hi, Tristan.
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
It's going good. It's good to get back in the saddle.
Yeah.
It's going.
It's been a bit since we last talked.
Yeah, that was a while ago, but hopefully we can get into a groove. And it gave us an excuse to watch Jumanji, which, you know, Robin Williams is always a catch. He's always great.
He is a treasure.
Yes. Jumanji is rated PG, and it was advertised as kids and family fantasy adventure, directed by Joe Johnson. I always should try to look ahead of time. Let's see what some other work he did. He did The Rocketeer. The Page Master.
Page Master. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Dude, this guy is like my childhood.
Yeah. He also did October Skies.
Yeah.
And the Captain America movie.
The first Captain America movie, yeah.
Yeah.
He did Hidalgo.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't watch it, but he did it.
He did. That's a good one. I enjoy that one.
I that's Vigo, right?
Yeah.
I like Vigo. Anyway, it is written by Chris Van Allsburg, Greg Taylor, and Jim Strain, starring the one and only Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt, Kirsten Dunst, Bradley Pierce, who is also the voice of Chip from Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, he is.
Jonathan Hyde, who, as I was doing research, found out he's Australian, not British, but he does a pretty good British guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's Bebe I think it's Bebe Neuwirth. I might be saying her name wrong, but originally released as a winter spectacle, December 15th, 1995. Its budget was $65 million, and it grossed worldwide $263 million.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so it did, well, for the 90s especially, it did very well.
Right. I think it's really the draw of Robin Williams.
Yeah. Try to think, but, I don't think they were basing it off anything.
I think there's a book.
Oh, okay.
Because there's another movie, Zathura or something.
Correct, which is the sequel. You're right. There is a book. There is a book.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it's a very popular book. I was 8 when this came out, so I didn't read it. But I loved the movie, so it was great.
Mm-hmm.
So Tristan, now we're going to transition into a new segment called What's the Plot? And so this is a chance for you, the audience, to listen to Tristan and my interpretation of the film, because if you have listened to previous episodes, I have a real big issue with the plots that most of the times are written on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, usually because they're either just what the distributor put on the DVD box or some overly enthusiastic person on the internet added. We will warn you, these go off the rails. And
yes, they do.
I can easily say I have become what I hate, but it's all for the game. It's all for the love of the game. So, Tristan, why don't you go first?
I need to rabbit trail for a moment here.
Go for it.
When you introduced What's the Plot, the way that you said it made me think of Will Ferrell when he did his Harry Carey impersonation.
What's the plot?
If the moon. Anyway, I got distracted during that whole introduction thinking about that. But yeah, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. The year is 1869. Nice. Two boys, haunted by a box that makes some sick jungle beats, can no longer handle the beat and throw the box into a hole. Actually, let me start over. The year is 1969. Nice.
Nice.
A young boy, haunted by bullies and some sick jungle beats, pulls an old box out of a hole, and the box pulls him into its hole. Hold on. Let's try that one more time. The year is 1995. Nice.
Hey, they come in three, man.
An orphan sister and brother, haunted by the sick jungle beats coming from the attic of a strange new mansion their aunt inexplicably bought, and the death of their parents, find a board game called Jumanji, the source of the sick jungle beats. But Jumanji is more than just a boombox with a tape stuck playing the same song. And it's more than just a board game. It's a freaking nightmare. It's hard not to laugh at my own ridiculousness. Anyway, unlike other board games based on an imaginary world, Jumanji's world and adventures come to life, literally colliding with the real world. And no one is safe from the stampede of dangerous animals, man-eating plants, and the calamity that ensues. Heck, one kid turns into Michael J. Fox from Teen Wolf for cheating on the game. But let's be honest, that kid already kind of looked like a monkey before the transformation.
Zing!
Judy, Kirsten Dunst, and Peter, Bradley Pierce, the orphans, find Jumanji and start unwittingly playing a game that began 26 years prior. When Peter rolls the dice, the game unleashes a lion into the house and also releases Robin Williams' character, Alan, from being trapped in the game. The trio learn they must finish the game, but to do so, they need to find Alan's childhood friend, Sarah Whittle. Judy, Peter, Alan, and Sarah, the cuckoo crazy psychic lady who sees a therapist due to the childhood drama of watching her friend get sucked into a board game, but is convinced by her therapist that she made up the story to deal with the rumor that her friend was instead murdered and chopped up into little pieces by her father. And it's the 90s, so therapy is only for crazy people and is therefore the punchline of the joke. Must finish the game Alan started before the pretty much already trashed town that nobody should be living in gets trashed some more. The adventure leads them all over town, evading wild animals, monkeys who can drive, and an unhinged hunter who looks a lot like Alan's dad. This brings them full circle to the mansion where it all began, where they can finally roll enough to get a game piece to the center of the board and exclaim, Jumanji. This ultimately resets everything that has happened since Sarah and Alan opened the game in 1969. Nice. Ultimately, we see every character grow, confront, and satisfyingly overcome their trauma. Oh, wait. Actually, everything gets completely undone. Everybody forgets anything that happened, except for Sarah and Alan, who have to grow up again, but this time with the memories of everything that happened before. And then they somehow become some sort of creepers who manipulate a family into working for them to save the kids from losing their parents. Although Alan does get a nice resolution with his father, which he seemed like kind of a horrible dad, but actually showed a lot of love and care for his son in the end. So that was nice.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
That's beautiful. That's a work of art. You started reading it like you know in the South Park episodes where they're flying and they have the Rob Schneider movies where they're like, so I thought Rob Schneider is just another guy. The year was 1969. Nice. All right, that was just the voice of Shaggy.
Oh no! What?
I'm. Nope. Now lost it.
It's like right there in my brain, and I can't.
He was a radio guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Why can't I think of his name? Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. Wow, what dead air for a freaking Casey Kasem joke. Jeez.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, here we go. And here's mine. Man, yours was good. I think mine's dumb now. All right, here we go. In the 1995 hit Jumanji, we follow the tragic story of a board game, Jumanji, longing to be played. Starting in post-Civil War New England, the audience is experiencing Jumanji's first bout with abandonment. Two boys who don't understand how powerful Jumanji's love was decided to bury the game. Fast forward 100 years, where the descendant, Alan Parrish, of the town's hero, who gives a crap Parrish, is getting chased by a murderous gang of, I don't know, middle schoolers. Alan leads the bullies to his dad's factory, where Alan retreats inside, sabotages like the only black man working in the shoe shop, while simultaneously getting be a man talk by his father. Alan faces his bullies, gets the crap beat out of him, and finds our true protagonist, Jumanji, at a construction site. Alan starts to play the game with Sarah, the bully's apparent girlfriend. This is kind of gray, honestly. And Jumanji, great yogurt. Jumanji absorbs Alan into itself while scaring Sarah with some bats. We jump another 20 years to find a couple of kids with dead parents who find Jumanji and start playing. Several dangerous and poorly constructed CGI animals are manifested by Jumanji. Not only that, Alan is back, but now he's Robin Williams. And not to get into too much detail, they all have to play the game to finish it, including Sarah, who is like a psychic or something. Ultimately, it's a story about being a man. No, really. It's just a weird metaphor for being a man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's it.
Hey, I like the perspective that Jumanji is the protagonist, and it loves too much, and people can't handle it.
It's just trying to bring everyone into its own, and no one understands it. You know?
Yeah, because the drums always get a little bit faster and a little bit louder when it's like being thrown away or whatever. It's like no, don't throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it sees a nice person walking by, and it's like dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. It's just nervous, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, and that was a terrible read. And audience members, that is What's the Plot? And that's where like a little sound like what's the plot?
What's the plot?
Give it some 90s attitude. What's the plot?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Tristan, what did you think of the movie overall?
Oh boy. Honestly, I really enjoyed this movie, and I remember watching it as a kid, and I think it scared me more as a kid. But I enjoyed it more now as an adult. I think part of that is because like the CG and the fake monsters, or not monsters, but animals and like all of those, like it's really obvious now. that they're not great. Back then it was like, oh my goodness, like this is so creepy. But it does have the disquieting vibe that a lot of 90s families movies had during this time. Like Casper, which I feel like the first 30 minutes of both this movie and Casper are very similar in the beats that they hit of like family moves into abandoned mansion. Abandoned mansion is kind of weird. So then an exterminator comes to check things out. And like, it's just, there's some beats that are very similar.
That token exterminator, man. That was a big 90s thing, I think.
I know. Stuart Little, I think, had an anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if you look at
2 Michael J. Fox references within the first 15 minutes. Tristan,
I know.
banging them out, man.
I'm on a roll. Even compared to Joe's other stuff, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like I don't know if it was just him or if it was the late 80s into the 90s family movie vibe that was just kind of like feels weird. It's kind of scary for kids.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think Robin Williams was really great in this one. It's not the best showing of Robin Williams, but like always, he's able to bring you on the emotional journey of the character that he plays, which I think is really great. And
yeah.
I think this movie actually had some really funny moments, which when I think of the movie, I don't think of it as a comedy or like being funny, but it does have some really, really solid moments. So I wouldn't say that it's a new favorite at all, but I enjoy it, and like it has stuck around in the zeitgeist for a reason. So
yeah.
What about you?
I enjoyed it. We'll get into issues with it, but I enjoyed it overall. It was really, even though you're right, it wasn't like Robin Williams' best showing, but in my notes, I just like write down ideas, and I think I have it about 6 times of Robin Williams is a great actor. Like, just kind of scattered about throughout it because he's really good. Like he's just a good actor. I thought Kirsten Dunst did an excellent job. She was so funny, and how she played everything was really good. And what's his name?
Bradley Pierce.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
And the fun fact that I learned was that he plays an 8-year-old in this movie, and Kirsten plays, I don't know, 12, something like that. They're only 6 months apart in real life.
Yeah, I saw that too. She's not that much older than him, but
played it great.
She just hit her growth spurt a little bit faster.
Classic 90s battle of the sexes, just in growth spurts. Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. So what did you like best about the movie?
Well, you just mentioned Kirsten Dunst and Bradley Pierce. I think the relationship between the siblings of Judy and Peter is probably one of the best parts of the movie. I think they did a really good job of showing that relationship, and like the scene right after they've moved in, and Judy can't sleep, so she goes over to talk to Peter, and this is the first time we hear Peter talk, and it just kind of shows the relationship of like they trust each other, they're all each other has, and then there's very purposeful moments throughout the movie that show their relationship and the way they care about each other, the way they joke with each other, which I think was what really was a really solid foundation for the characters that we see in the movie. Even though the last third of the movie, their characters kind of become side plot.
Sideline, yeah.
For the first half of the movie, at least, like they are just this really solid pair that I think really makes that relationship feel real. So I really I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I really like that. I like Robin Williams. He, always a pleasure to watch him work and do what he does, because he takes it's so funny because it's clearly like Robin Williams, but somehow it's not just a character actor. Like you feel that he was in this hell for 26 years. You feel that he is scared. You feel that he's hurt. You feel that he's happy. Like, you feel all those things. He's just such an excellent actor that it doesn't take you out of the movie. It brings you more into the movie. So it's always great to watch him. I do really love that relationship between the siblings as they go along. And that relationship grows as both of them grow and mature. And then, yes, it all erases and reverts to nothing at the end. But, you know. Yeah. Anything else you liked best about the movie?
I think the other things that I like, I'll probably hit on in some other things that we talk about.
Okay.
But so I'll save it for those moments.
Sounds great. What did you like least about the film?
So there was a couple of things that
I've got a list.
One, I guess, I mean, I mentioned it in in my plot summary, but the depiction of therapy and like mental health is so negative in this movie, and it's a product of the time. In the 90s, therapy was only seen as something that you do if you're crazy, and so.
Well, in addition to that, you have, I guess you could say, you know, the science of psychology and whatnot, but then it's like immediately connected to, you know, I always get them confused. Is it astrology?
It is.
And, you know, I don't remember if she makes like a numerology reference, but she makes reference to like, this means this, and this means this, and this means this, as a blanket for, these are all the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like, at one point, Alan runs away, and she's like, oh, don't mind him, he's a Libra, or whatever. And so, like,
right.
the way they depict therapy, but also Sarah, as, like, being crazy, and then she's also a psychic, and she's also into astrology, like all of these different things, just like the point was for it to be this joke, and that it's all a farce. And then like her calling to be like, I need to up my meds and blah blah, like it's all supposed to be this very negative, let's make fun of it kind of thing,
right,
where like now we look at that today and we're like, oh no, like mental health is really important, and like getting therapy is great.
Right. Well, and then too, you know, if she did see something traumatic like that, and if someone who was seeing her heard what they felt was something made up, that's a hell of a story to then be like, ha ha ha, you're just crazy.
Right.
And that's what we, the audience, is supposed to feel, even though we saw it happen, rather than us feeling empathy for this woman who had her entire world torn apart because of this game and this event, and then no one believing her. We're just supposed to like laugh at how she coped with it, because all of it is just coping.
Right.
And yeah, that it's a very 90s trope to take mental health and to turn it into like a strict joke.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Also, the romantic relationship that forms between Alan and Sarah feels like, oh, we need to have a romantic relationship. That's what we do in movies. And it didn't really
feels so forced.
Yeah. And like, there's like the little flirty moments that happen here and there. And like, that's fine, because they suggested that there might have been something between them when they were kids. But like they hold hands and then they like pull away and they're like, oh no. And then they share these, I don't know. It just feels forced. And then Sarah just falls for Alan mostly because they're going through this really traumatic experience again.
Correct.
And like he's the first guy to actually believe in her and treat her nice in years, but also he was super aggressive and like forceful, and it's understandable why he was doing that, because it's like, hey, we need you to play this game, otherwise like we're stuck in this forever. But like for her to fall for that it just felt weird. And I think they still could have ended it when like they still could have gotten together at the end, but in a more innocent way of like when they're kids, we see them holding hands and walking back or whatever, and then we see them married in the future, or like that kind of thing still could have happened.
Yeah, that would have been fine, and they could have skipped all the romanticness within it, or skip the tension beforehand. Like you could accept there's no letting reality or anything to the wayside to think that these people would become close in some way, shape, or form due to what's occurring. The idea that Peter and what's Kirsten's character, Judy, would have that kind of parental child relationship with Robin Williams and Bonnie Hunt because of the actions that are occurring, and for Alan and Sarah to become closer because of that. But the idea of like throwing in romantic things like the hand holding or the looks or whatever it might be feels so forced, and I don't know why it feels forced, but it does. I think maybe because they didn't set it up necessarily prior to that. So when they were in 1969, you didn't really get the idea that Sarah liked him.
Yeah. She was being kind to him, but it didn't feel like she liked him.
The bully makes you think that, but then when Sarah interacts with Alan, like, there's this board game, would you like to play? And she's like, I don't really play board games. Like, she's just being nice. Like, she's not being like, hey, board game, eh?
Yeah, and she acts more like, you're too young. Like, you're too childish for me.
Right. So you don't get that vibe. So when they're older, it's trauma affection, which makes it even more, I guess now with today's eyes, makes it a little more kind of like, I don't really like that.
Yeah.
But I like what you're saying, like when they go back, it could have happened. That's not beyond the possibility, but during just feels forced and kind of icky because
and it takes away from
going through trauma.
Yeah. It takes away from like the relationships, the more authentic feeling relationships that could have been forming in the group. Like I said earlier, Peter and Judy just kind of disappear. Like they're there, but they become an afterthought, and then it becomes about the adults.
Yeah. Something in that area that I didn't really like is the beginning of this movie kind of went one way, which was it wanted to be scary. The music was trying to make this whole thing scary. Like the music was so intense through the beginning. And then it got to a point probably after Alan gets arrested where the movie has no clue what it's trying to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be a comedy. It doesn't know if it wants to be an action flick. It doesn't know if it wants to stay as a horror movie or scary kids movie. Like it just doesn't know. The pacing gets all over the place, and it feels like someone was just like, I wrote a really good 40 minutes, but now we got to finish this act 2 and act 3, and we need about an hour. So what are we going to do?
Yeah, it does feel like hey, we wrote a really great introduction to a movie, but now what?
Yeah. And not to say that there wasn't good things in the second half of Act 2 and Act 3. Like there was great stuff in it. Not those spiders though. Those spiders were bad. Those they ran out of money. It's probably why they went back to the house.
Yeah, they spent it all on the monkeys.
Yeah, I bet those were so expensive back then.
Yeah,
I bet that was like 15 million of that 65 million.
It was done by ILM, so
not their best work.
Not really.
Like
which Joe Johnson actually used to work for them and did digital art design for like Indiana Jones and Star Wars and like different things. So he had a history with ILM, which is why they did this. But this was not their best showing.
Yeah. Well, I take it back. The monkeys were garbage. The monkeys were really bad because, I think you would understand this with your experience, but to, give some background to the audience, I'm not an animator, but I do know that once you've accomplished the goal in your coding of creating an action and whatever it might be, you can kind of copy and paste it onto other characters to create, similar motions, clones if you want. But most of the time when they do animations, they try to change the timing a little, change the height, change something about the characters so it's not just a bunch of clones doing the same exact thing at the same exact time.
Make them feel a little more unique. Yeah.
Yeah. Make it feel a little more natural because we as people, animals, they don't, even birds who fly together don't have perfect synchronicity to fly perfectly in one shape. There's wind, user error. There's different things that change it slightly. So there should be a little bit of that. There was none in those monkeys. Those monkeys were just clones.
Yeah.
But I will say some of the other animals during the stampede, when they were going through the city, even sometimes the lion looked pretty good. The lighting was a little off in certain aspects. I think lighting was the biggest issue for a lot of it. But some of those animals weren't bad at all. Mostly, I think, because like the elephants and the rhinos, there's no fur. So it's a little, maybe back then it was a little easier to animate. But
they're not doing, like the monkeys are throwing things and like interacting with the world around them, where the elephants and the rhinos and the zebra, they're just kind of running around. And when they do crush something, there is a practical effect that is then covered up by the CG.
Right.
But
when they stole something, one of the monkeys stole a computer monitor, and it was so clearly fake. It was clearly CGI.
It was bad.
So the monkeys were bad. But I guess go back best a little bit. Some of the practical effects were actually really, really good. I really enjoyed some of the practical effects. Yeah. But some of the practical effects were really, really bad.
Yeah.
Those spiders were garbage.
They were just large plastic spiders.
They were Halloween decorations.
Like, attached to strings or something. It was bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
But yeah, I agree with you. I guess the genre of the film felt like it shifted about halfway through.
And then just some like story things that were just, I don't know what was happening. In the beginning, I like that they kind of do this thing with the two kids playing the game. But I feel like there's backstory on the city missing, on the town missing, because they do that but they tell nothing about the characters other than it was buried right where the shoe factory was going to be. So we get that. But then Alan is riding through the town and he passes the statue of, I assume is his grandfather based off what his father said. And we get this idea of it's like a prosperous town or something like that. And his grandfather's a hero. And then these murderous kids, because he said, are you ready to die? Like, there is a 90s, 80s trope where kids just want to kill other kids. And I don't understand. I was a kid. I got bullied. I don't remember anyone threatening my life, especially at that age.
Yeah, not in that way.
Yeah,
like,
I
not somebody being like,
to...
I'm going to kill you for hanging out with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I was like, what? And then he goes to his dad's factory. These kids are yelling out threats while there are adults in the area, and no one goes to think like, oh, this is the boss's kid, the grandson of the hero of our town that we have a statue in the middle of our town for. Maybe we should be like, okay, guys, get out of here. Don't steal his bike.
Yeah.
Everyone lets his bike get stolen? What fantasy world is this?
All of this happens next to a construction site where there are a bunch of dudes who are probably seeing and hearing this happen. Not to mention, they let Alan just wander through an open construction site. The adults are so like oblivious to the fact that there are children happening here.
And I guess that might be a joke to like the 60s or something, but also, come on. I also mentioned, I wrote in my notes, OSHA would be so mad. Like, this kid is just going through a hard hat site, digging through where there's a structure. He's just digging through where there's a structure. That's probably not safe.
Yeah, and I love the construction worker that like looks over at him and he's like, oh no, I gotta go, and then like runs away. That construction worker did not have the look of someone who was going to do something about it. He was just kind of like, if he hey, look, there's a kid over there.
If he would have said like, hey, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, perfect reaction.
Right.
But there was nothing.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, oh, what's going on over there?
Some other things I didn't like. Sam Parrish, son of a... that guy sucked.
Yeah.
But not only did he suck, I don't know where he's supposed to be. He doesn't know if he's from Alabama, Louisiana, or South Perth. Like, he does not know where he's supposed to be. He has like a Southern accent, and then he has like a little bit of the like English Australian accent, and then he gets like some Louisiana drawl in there, and then we find out they're in New England.
Yeah, I think it was.
Why doesn't he have like a? Yeah, why doesn't he have one of those accents? That was just. He sounded like he was from the South, and I'm like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I didn't notice it all the time, but yeah, there are moments where it's like, that's not the same way that you sounded earlier.
When he becomes the hunter, it's like, my Zen.
Oh yeah, he locked in for that one.
Locked in on that one, and he's not British, so it was pretty good. I enjoyed David Alan Grier, but at the same time, I cannot think of a better example of token black guy.
Yeah.
Like, he had a fro. He was just working, whatever it is. Gets in trouble by the man because of the little white kid's mistake. But he takes it, he's whatever. Then he comes back and like, he's supposed to be like a really good cop, but he's kind of not. And I don't understand what his place is other than to be the token black guy.
Yeah. I watched the movie with my wife and we talked about it after, where it was like, he really just feels like we need a black guy in the movie, but he's just going to be there to be the comedic relief. And it feels weird.
You could. Someone in a meeting somewhere was like, this really needs a black guy in it. And that's what they did. And it sucks because David Alan Grier is very funny, especially back then. Like that early 90s was his prime. And, well, David Alan Grier fans, please don't chew me out for that one. But I feel like that was his prime. And it felt like a waste of talent.
Mm-hmm.
God bless the aunt. I don't know what was happening. The only problem with her character development was trying to start a bed and breakfast on the surface of hell. Like, what? I don't understand what this city is.
Right? It's so confusing. Like,
because clearly there's an unhoused issue going on, which why not turn that mansion into a housing center? One, but then two, it felt like every vice in the world was there. There was like a porn shop. There was, all the buildings looked decrepit and ruined. But then there's also later a fully functioning mall shopping center where loads of people are going to. So clearly the city is doing better than it first appeared. I guess it falls into that category of they didn't know what they were doing. The movie doesn't know what it's doing. So the movie doesn't know what to do with the character of the city itself. The city kind of has to be a character, especially in a movie like this. But you're giving, a clean cut person who turns into a criminal who then is also doing really well at the same time. I don't know what this city's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that was a huge thing for me, was like, why is she buying this mansion? Why is she bringing these kids that she's now responsible for to this town or the city or whatever? Like, it does not seem like a place that you would want to bring kids. It doesn't seem like a place that you'd want to buy a mansion. Like, it.
Well, let alone to start some kind of business venture of a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. I think they should have built the 90s version of the town better.
Yeah. They could have made it of like, maybe it's not what it used to be, but they made it seem like, well, the shoe, well, and that was the problem, because as soon as the plot point of, well, his dad essentially used all the money, and so the business went out of business, and so the whole city went out of business, essentially. As soon as that plot point was over, then the city no longer had to be that. Yeah. That's what it felt like.
But every moment up until then, it really felt more like a post-apocalyptic, like, nobody's touched this building in decades. There's still stuff from when Alan was a child in both the mansion and the factory. Like, there's just old shoes thrown around. Like,
right.
And there's a dude living in the factory who's just living in the trash. And the guy didn't look like trash, but like that. Yeah, that was weird.
Fair clothes.
Yeah. And this is probably the part that I like the least. This is the thing that frustrates me the most. That guy did the most dirtbag thing. He's like, oh yeah, the parish is like, once their son went missing, he just like spent all of his money trying to find him. Nobody loved his kid more than Sam Parrish. And then Alan was like, oh, like, where are they now? And his response is, oh, I see them around over on whatever street. as if they're still alive, and then it cuts
Right.
to a cemetery. Like, who talks like that? Who says like, "Oh yeah, I see the parishes around the town."
Yeah.
Like
I wrote down, what a weird way to say Alan's parents were dead.
right.
Like,
He'd be like,
what a
"Oh
weird way to say that.
yeah." He could have said, "Oh, they're down at the cemetery," or like whatever. But
Yeah.
just, I see them around.
Or like, I go visit their graves ever so often. Like, it was such a jarring moment because I was really shocked in that moment, thinking, who talks like that? Who says it like that?
It's
I've
such
never
a
heard
horrible
that.
way. I know they did it
Yeah.
for the reveal for us, but it's just a horrible, like, horrible human thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. I do take issue with the wrapping up of the story, the conclusion of the story, because I think it misses a point. So Robin Williams eventually confronts the hunter and says, "I'm not scared." And then the hunter, who is the same actor who played Sam Parrish, it's the dad. It's the weird thing in the 90s or a little later, because there was that 2003 Peter Pan where the kid, Wendy's dad, also played Hook.
Oh yeah.
So the idea, the pirates are the parents. And in this one, the greatest thing hunting him is his father's expectations for him. Like, it's a metaphor, but also this game existed far before his father existed. So I can't imagine that's what it actually is. That feels like a stretch, but I think that's what it is. Because, when he faces them and he's like, I'm not going to run. And then he basically says the lesson his dad would said, now you're a man, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So one, it's this weird view on masculinity, but then two, because ultimately his dad was wrong. His dad was wrong when he sent Alan out, because it shouldn't matter if it's one guy or 10 guys. The idea that we can face our problems with just brute force, even though this guy is being unreasonable and he's just a bully. Like, this kid is just a bully. He believes the world revolves around him. He's a bully. This is my girl, whatever it is. The issue is this kid. This kid is the issue. Alan is not the issue. Does Alan have room to grow? Absolutely. But Alan is not the issue in this problem. His father makes Alan the problem.
Right.
Alan, the problem you need to fix is your own manhood. You need to be a man, whatever it is. And then at the end of the movie, or, at the end of Jumanji, the game, Alan stands up like his father wanted him to be like, yeah, my father was right. But then when he goes back in time, his father apologizing, realizing he was wrong.
Yeah.
Realizing that the thing that Alan needed wasn't to be a man, but to see what a man can be through his father. And his father needed to change some stuff to be a better man.
Yeah.
That the lesson isn't Alan needed to be a man. The lesson was Alan's dad, Sam Parrish, he was the one who needed to be a man. He needed to be a better father. He needed to fulfill the expectations and requirements and the responsibilities of being a good father that he was not doing. And he was also kind of a dick. Like, he yelled at his wife. And there was one moment, because I was just thinking of me and Krista, where I was like, Krista would never, I think she should punch me in the face if I ever did that. But there was one, Sam got so mad at Alan so quickly for like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
their whole argument, I was just like, where is this coming from? Because this is a lot. And it's a lot from Sam. Like, Alan kind of has an excuse. He got hurt and his dad doesn't really care. And so his dad's like, hey, boarding school. And Sam is just like, you child, I hate you. You're like, almost like I hate you.
Yeah.
And then they're in the car and she starts to say something. It seems like she has a point and she's right. But then he like is mean and is like, what? And then she's like, nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, there's so much not good, healthy relationship here. There's some negativity going on, some bad juju happening. I don't think that word's a good word anymore. There's some bad vibes. But you know, there's a lot of weird, tropey 1960s man-wife relationship or a father-son relationship that the story doesn't do a good job in resolving.
It sort of acknowledges it. Like when Alan is talking to Peter, he has his moment where he acts like his dad, and then he's like, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Like that's not who I want to be. So like, and it acknowledges
that's what it should have been. That's what the end should have been, because the end should have been like, I'm not just standing for myself. I'm standing for these people I care about, or something like that. Something they could have built into to then when he goes back to his dad, he could have been like, you know, I'm sorry for how I was or whatever I said. I didn't mean it. I just really need you.
Yeah.
And that could have been his standing up moment, because like, I just love the idea of Sam being like, you got to stand up to your problems. And then when he threatens to ship off Alan, or I guess offers to ship him off to boarding school that he went to, Alan stands up for himself and he's mad that he stood up for himself.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, where's the lesson here? What are we trying to learn?
Yeah. And again, they're like, at the end, there is the conversation that happens between them that like just barely touches on resolution. Like,
and it's also,
but it's funny because it's only 5 minutes later. So like, I don't know if a dad who would have exploded like that
would have
in reality would have been able to come back in and been like, oh, you're totally right, son. I'm sorry. Like, I'm glad that happened. I think they could have done it better. But yeah, it was just kind of like, wow, like he turned around in 5 minutes and was able to be like, I'm sorry that I yelled at you, son, and you're right. And like, I love you, and let's talk man to man. And then Alan has his like, how about father to son, which is like, we can see that Alan has grown a lot in this moment. But yeah, I agree. It could have been a better dive into the father-son relationship that they just barely scratched the surface of.
And it's also kind of questionable because like one of the reasons the dad is like, I'm not going to be chill, is kind of that like borderline kind of, I don't know how to feel about it, but he sees Sarah in the house and he's just kind of like,
yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here, man?
I see we have a friend over.
Yeah, like what? You just got mad. Wouldn't you be more mad that he's doing, like, I don't understand the motivation.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think we said enough. Who was your favorite character?
Okay, so I know we just talked about the fact that he was the token black man in the movie, but I think Carl Soulman Bentley could have had a movie all to himself.
He would have, oh my gosh, I just realized something.
What?
Was he at the party at the end?
I think so.
I hope it was because they were unveiling his 5th generation or 30th generation of his shoe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
because
totally
because he
totally
doesn't
could have
get
had the job.
fired because Alan was like, "Hey, I did the thing in the machine. Like
Right.
that was me." And then so that set it up so he doesn't get fired, and then he ends up being what like helps the shoe company
Right.
like continue into the future.
I
And
would
so,
hope
but
so.
like,
Yeah,
I
he should have his own movie.
yeah, like the story of the one black man working at a shoe factory who invents the future of shoes. Like that would be a great movie. And I think like his character, like you said, that like sorely underused in this movie, but like he does such a great job in
Right.
in his role that as soon as he's on camera, you're like, oh, this guy's really interesting, and he's like funny, and he seems to like care about his work and what he does. And even when he's a cop who seems like he's supposed to be a good cop, but is he actually a good cop? We don't know. But the whole time he's just a guy trying to do his job.
Right.
And he is really funny. And so from that perspective, he is the character that is like, oh, that's like he is a good, like he has potential to be a really great character, but then the fact that he's the token black guy kind of takes away from his character.
Yeah.
But to me, he is the one that's like, I could watch a whole movie about like the character that they set up for him.
Right.
That was where he was the protagonist. If we're looking at the main cast, I think Peter is probably my favorite character because he's the one that we see go from being this like really like enclosed, doesn't talk to anybody except for his sister. And by the end of it, he's like jumping in to help. He's talking and like doing all of these things. And we see a lot of growth in who he is and like how he is coming out of his shell. And like, I think Bradley Pierce like did a really great job, especially for like a kid actor. I think it was really good. But I think my most favorite character of the entire movie is the final rhino in the stampede.
Agreed.
They set it up so perfectly. There's the initial stampede, and then we see him the second time, and he's like kind of falling behind, but he's still going. And then the last time we see him, he's just like, oh, guys, we've been doing this all day. It gives me the same vibes as Emperor's New Groove when there's the guy who's like, I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home? Like, that's this rhino to me, and
yes.
I love him.
That's great. I like that too. I think both the kids actually kind of are my favorite. They both have the best character development, even though it gets kind of thrown to the wayside at the end. They're both really funny. They're both really endearing. They play really, really good siblings. Like, I just really enjoy them.
I don't think I agree. I don't think Judy got closure to her character flaw.
No.
Right? No. They set it up that like her coping mechanism to losing her parents,
it's just outright lying.
Is that she lies. And that's what she does. And her aunt knows it, and like Peter knows it, and Peter calls her out on it. But like there's no moment where like they could have done a boy who cried wolf type of thing, or there could have been like Sarah, who everybody thought she was a liar, but she was telling the truth, could have had this moment where she is like, hey, I know, like I've been through trauma, and everybody thought I was lying, but I wasn't. And like, the truth is more important than like they could have had this really good moment where Judy
that would have
grows.
They are juxtaposed against each other. Like, she is lying as a coping mechanism, and Sarah told the truth as a coping mechanism, but they're both seen as essentially the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't even think of that. That's really nice. That would have been really nice, I guess, is more the way to say it.
Yeah, if they had followed through with it.
Man, we're good at this. Yeah. You're right. The only turning point was, I think Judy was about to lie to Sarah, and then Peter elbowed her and was her last lie. But it was just that, yeah, that's really abrupt. That's weird that she would have spent almost a year doing that, or we assume is what she used from the start, and then would just stop on a heartbeat for no real apparent reason other than Peter like hitting her.
Yeah. I feel like if it was a more modern movie, she would have had a phone call with her aunt, and she'd be like, "Hey, there's some really crazy things going on at the house. Like, stay away. There's a lion." And like, telling her aunt something, and she's like, "Judy, stop lying to me." And she's like, "I'm not lying." Like, that could have been a moment, but if it was more modern when cell phones existed,
they technically had that moment where she's like, the boy was killed. And then the aunt was like, "Go back to your room." I know it wasn't good enough, but
it wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't really the moment. Her being like, "Well, it wasn't a lie." Like,
right.
That was the setup for something to happen later.
Right. Absolutely.
That never happened.
I agree. Speaking of lies, do you have a quote that you like?
Good segue.
I'm good at this.
Yeah, I think my two favorite lines are when the aunt runs up to, or stops Carl as he's driving down the road, and she's like, "Can you give me a ride?" And then the vine grabs the car and pulls it into the forest, and Carl just says, "Fine, take it." As if he has any say in what's going on.
That is very good.
A great moment. But I think the moment even better than that is when they go to Sarah's house. They knock on the door. Alan reveals that it's him. Sarah passes out, and Peter's just like, "You killed her."
Yeah, that one. I have that one written down too. That one's really good.
Yeah.
This movie had a lot of really good one-liners that were completely inappropriate in the scope of what was happening. They don't make sense. Alan's just spent almost 3 decades in the jungle, and as he's cutting the vine, he goes, "Harvest time."
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You haven't talked to anyone. Are you just telling yourself one-liners while you're trying to survive in the jungle?
Yeah, you know, for the last 26 years, that's what he did. Just harvest time.
That would have been my favorite line from the movie if right after he said a one-liner, he was just like, "Man, I've been dying to say that in front of people for so long."
Yeah.
Actually, the "you killed her" is my favorite one.
Yeah,
just because of how he says it in the context of everything. It's really good. Alrighty, so now it is time for the namesake review rewind. We take a look at a positive review and a negative review, and we see where we fall. This time around, we went ahead and looked overall at how it was perceived, and then we will read the reviews and we will kind of see where we're at. So overall, Metacritic has this movie completely panned. It was 39% critical review.
Wow.
Rotten Tomato has it at 59%. all audience review across all platforms were around the 70s. So this one was not liked by the critics for whatever reason.
Not made for the critics, I see.
Yes. John Lovitz would hate it. It stinks. Alrighty, so why don't you go ahead and read the good review?
All right, so this one got a score of 75 from the San Francisco Examiner. The result is a thrill ride with enough plunges and turns and loop-the-loops to make it worth a spin. What the picture lacks is the magic and resonance you feel in the best of popular entertainment.
I think there was good magic and resonance. Oh, well, maybe. I think just cohesiveness within the story. Alrighty. This one is a whopping 10 out of 100 by Time Magazine. Director Joe Johnston, elaborately dressed kids movie about a board game that sucks its players into perilous jungle overrun by lions, rhinos, monkeys, and crocodiles. And Spider spends so much time on the how of special effects that it neglects the why of its characterization. I mean, it's kind of a jerk way to say it, but it's not wrong. Not wrong.
Yeah, but also the game doesn't suck the players into a perilous jungle. The game makes the perilous jungle come to them. Except for the case of Alan.
One player in.
It sucks one player in, but we don't actually see what happens on that end.
And then it spits him out and spits everything else out.
Yeah.
Look, Jumanji has acid reflux, and it's just struggling a little bit. Back to it is the protagonist.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Tristan, what grade do you give it? I usually do it in the scope of, since I'm a teacher, I give it a grade of like A through F. It's up to you how you want to do it, but go for it.
For sure. I give this one a C plus B minus range. I like
Solid.
it. I think it's passing, but I don't think it's like an amazing movie.
Yeah. I am in the similar boat. Very high C plus, like 79.999. It has moments that are great that I really thoroughly enjoy, and like when you finish it, you're like, man, I do like that movie. But there are, to put it in essay terms, there are some grammatical errors, syntax problem, and overall, like I said, cohesiveness of story. Like it gets in the same way that I lost the thread on my plot. They lost the thread on their movie.
Yep.
We both experienced the same thing. How many years now? Almost 30 years apart.
Yeah.
We're continuing the Jumanji. Fun fact. I wrote this down. Where is it? Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle had a better critical acclaim than the original. It was in the 70s from critics.
That's
The
crazy.
Rock, Jack Black, and whoever else was in it.
Karen Gillan?
Yes.
Gillan?
And
Gillian? I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
yes.
And he's short. He's loud. His name is
Danny DeVito.
no.
Oh, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Danny DeVito.
You went a whole different direction there. I don't know what I was doing. He wasn't even in that movie. I just really like Danny DeVito.
Yeah, he's
you're
good.
right, Kevin Hart.
Yeah. We didn't really hit on it too much, but I do just want to say that I have questions about like the origins of the board game. Like, is it supposed to be some sort of curse? I don't know. And also, Van Pelt, the hunter, I think doesn't quite line up with like the era of.
I was thinking that exact same thing.
He's like
one of the first things I looked up. I was like, I think he's supposed to be like an evil courtier, but that's still like, I think British people in safaris, I think it's like 1850s, like maybe a little earlier, but you're trying to say that this cursed board game was only 20 years old when those kids dug it or buried it? Like,
yeah, it suggests that the game existed long before those kids found it, but then there is a very contemporary hunter that is part of the game.
Like etched into the cover of the game.
But then talking about Welcome to the Jungle, that shows that the game does adapt to the world around it. So it's possible that this cursed game has just adapted over the years, but missed the adaptation of what would be modern to the 90s, because
right.
Or even the 1960s.
Right.
But I digress.
Okay, there was one issue I did have that I didn't mention before, and then we'll wrap it up. One school day, and the aunt cleaned the entire first floor to perfection.
Yeah.
How?
I've lived in my current apartment for over a year, and I just recently cleared a room of being full of boxes. So I'm impressed with her work ethic.
That she was able to, because it was one school day, because at the end of it, right after that, she said it only took one day and I had to go see the principal on the first day of school or whatever it was. No, that took me out so hard, because I was just like, I have never been able to clean anything that fast all by myself. And as you go through the movie, you find out it's like 9 rooms on that bottom floor.
Yeah.
Including a library study.
And like, it hasn't been touched since the 1960s.
Right.
Or 1970s.
And then later, they're all playing the game in one of the rooms, and it's perfectly clean. All the curtains are nice. Everything's good. I was just like, no. There is a board game pulling rhinos out of its butt, but yet this is the most fake thing out of all of it. I cannot believe that.
Yeah, they should have shown us her hiring some cleaners to come.
A whole team of people would have been great. Alrighty. Yeah. That's enough complaining. Ultimately, we enjoyed the movie.
We did like this movie.
If you want to watch it, I think you should. I would recommend not watching this with children, honestly. Maybe like adolescents, teenagers, maybe. There's a couple. The music's freaking scary. Yeah. I was getting chills about it, and I'm old. So until next time, we got a new segment. I should have put my butt to work and gotten an ending, but I still got nothing for this ending.
Yeah.
You review those rewinds, rewind those reviews, put the pencil in and crank that little thing until you get those reviews back or something. I'm Mike.
I'm Tristan.
I was talking about it like an audio cassette for a second, and I lost the thread again. So
the thread. I thought you were talking about a pencil sharpener. I was really confused.
Oh, yeah, no. I used to work at a video store. Okay, until next time, see ya.
See ya.